Okay, good morning, students. I'll start my class. Okay, let the students join. So it is already more than 5 minutes I waited. So students, as HOD madam told, so today 2-3 classes we are going to do revision. So first, I'll start the revision with first module. Students, first you have many of you already attended my previous classes, and few of the students they have not attended. So for the beneficial of all the students, we are doing this revision class. The students in the first module in this professional communication and report writing. So here in this subject, the first module is about the business communication. Students, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Any disturbance is there?
No.
No. So here, first we have to understand what is business communication and what are the main forms of communication and so on. See, first students, first thing you understand, the communication is not only important for business, it is important everywhere. Correct, no? If you go to market, there also we need communication. If you purchase any shop, there also we need communication. If you go to college, there also we need communication. But here they are mainly focusing on business communication. In business communication, first is what are the forms of business communication. In forms of business communication, there are three forms of business communication. See, please, you take one notebook and note down whatever the main points. Already I gave the notes of this topic, and even though you take down main points of this topic so that you can remember. So the under main forms of communication in business, we have three forms of communication: internal operational communication, external operation communication, and the personal communication. The internal operation communication is this communication is within the organization only. External operation communication is outside the organization, and personal communication is between two person or within a group of persons. See, first we'll see what is internal operational communication. See, this internal operation communication happens within the organization or within the department. I can say. Same as in the previous class also I gave the example about any event. If I want to prepare a report, then what I do, I talk to my head of the department. Yes, I talk because that event is related to only my department, so I talk to only my head of the department. So by taking the instructions from the head of the department, I prepare a document. Yes, I prepare a document, and then if I have any doubts, again I go back to my head of the department and I'll clarify my doubt, and again finally one report I'll prepare. Correct? See, this is the communication between the department only. So here external people are not involved. Correct? No? Maybe some other faculty, some other coordinator may support, may give some suggestion on this, but they are within the they are from our department only. This communication happens within the department only. So that's why we call it as a internal operation communication. External operation communication is outside the department also. Some of the coordinators or some of the people will be involved in this external operation communication. Say for example, to the same department fest, assume that I want to print a brochures. So simply I cannot print a brochure. I have to take permission from my head of the department. Even the head of the department has to take permission from the principal, and then we'll talk with the printing person. So here printing person is coming into the communication. Correct? No? Printing person is also coming into the communication. So this is the external operation communication. So once we decide the event, we decide the sponsors, we decide timing, everything we'll give for the printing. After giving the printing, then once we receive the prints from the printer, then we start circulating to different colleges. Correct, no, students? So here external people are also involved. So this we can say as an external operation communication. And the personal communication. Personal communication, I may talk to my students personally when they come to my cabin. When they come to my cabin, then that time I may tell, if you know any, if you have any friends in the other college, in Reva College or in RV College or in BMS College, in any other college, if you have friends, you tell them we are going to organize one department fest. You tell them to participate in that. Yes, we tell like that. No, so that is a personal communication. I am talking to only my students personally. See, I explained in, external operational communication, internal operational communication, and personal communication. See, in the internal operational communication, to prepare a report, I have to take instruction from or to prepare a document, I have to take instruction from my HOD. And in external operational communication, to print a brochure, I have to take instructions from my principal, my HOD. Yes, here I have to follow the hierarchy of students. So once I get the information or instruction from them, only then I can proceed. Correct? Your understanding? So I am getting the instructions or advice from the higher ups, and then based on that I am proceeding. So I have to follow a hierarchy here. Whereas in the case of personal operational communication, there is no hierarchy. I'm not going to ask my principal, or I'm not going to ask my HOD whether I can talk to my students or not. I know about the fest. When my students come and meet me, when I meet them in the class, or when I meet in my cabin, or when I meet them in the department or lab, I talk to them personally. I'll tell them, you inform your friends to attend the department fest. So this is the 3 forms of communication. You understood, students? Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Next, we have communication network of the organization. So what type of network the organization follows? So in the communication, there are 2 types of networks, that is formal communication and informal communication. Again, we can take an example of internal communication and personal communication only. Internal operation communication. See, internal operation communication is a formal communication, correct? First, I talk to my head of the department. I take some instruction from them, and based on their instruction, I work. If I have any doubt, again I go back to them. If I get it, again I clarify those doubts, and again I finish my work. Whereas in the personal communication, no need to go through the hierarchy. There is no formal channel, will not be there. Correct, students? Yes. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
To print the brochure also, to print for external operational communication, I took an example. To print a brochure, I have to talk to my principal, I have to talk to my HOD. So first principal will give instructions to head of the department. Head of the department will give instructions to the event coordinator. Then event coordinator will do the meeting with the department. Event coordinator will do the do meeting with the students. Then finally they decide how the brochure should be and what are the brochure should contain. Correct? No, we all did the same thing when we did the department fest. I think you remember that. So here we are following the proper network. So that's why here in formal network, a hierarchy will be there. So we have to follow the hierarchy. Whereas in informal network, there is no need of a hierarchy. So casually, how we talk to our students. So casually we talk to them and we inform them. So no need to follow any hierarchy. Correct, students? Understood? So next we have the process of human communication. So generally, what is the process of human communication? The students tell what is a general way, general form of communication. Yes, in general form of communication. See, when I say communication, then 2 people will be involved. Minimum 2 people will be involved. No, if I talk alone, then that is not a communication. If I talk alone, then that is not a communication. When I say communication, then minimum 2 people will be involved in that. So what happens there? I assume that I am a sender, the opposite person is a receiver. So two persons are communicating. The sender sends the information, and for that information or for that message, the receiver will receive the message, receive the information, and respond back to the sender. This process is nothing but a communication. Correct? This process is nothing but a communication. So here, the process of communication begins with the message sent. Correct? No? As a sender, I send message to the receiver. As a sender, in a communication, I send message to the receiver. The receiver will receive the message. See, students, every time in a communication, all the time, the communication may not be a verbal communication. Yes? Are you agree with this? In a communication, all the time, the communication may not be a verbal communication. Sometimes it may be a non-verbal communication also. So in non-verbal communication, what happens? The listener will sense my communication, sense my non-verbal action. Correct? Just instead of, see, if I say orally hello to my listener, then the listener will listen what I am telling, hello, then for that hello he responds. So that is one way of communication. So if I wave my hand, it also means that I am saying hello to my listener. Correct? That meaning also I am saying hello to my listener, and the listener will sense my non-verbal communication, and for that he'll respond back. Or instead of waving my hand, if I touch my listener, and if I wave my hand, then again that also a form of communication. For that the listener will sense and the listener will respond. Correct? Correct, students? So in the process of human communication, first the message will be sent and the entry of the sensory world. So sensory world is nothing but touch, smell, taste. So these are all the sensory world. Then detection by the senses. So it is detection by the senses is nothing but when I touch, the listener will sense my touch, and for that the listener will respond. The listener will detect my sense. When I touch him, he will detect the sense and he will respond for that. Students understanding? Yes, students?
Yes, ma'am.
These are all the process of human communication. See, first you understand in process of human communication, the message will be sent, and for that message, the receiver will reply back. If it is in the case of a verbal communication. If it is a non-verbal communication, in non-verbal communication means a hand movement might be there, or gestures will be there, or a body touch may be there. So for that body touch or for that hand movement, the listener will sense and he will respond back to that sense. So that is nothing but what? Human communication. Yes, students? Verbal communication, words will be there. A non-verbal communication, just a gestures, hand movements, and touch will be there. Understood? It is very easy, very simple. Students, am I fast?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So next, we have a very important topic, that is listening. now we see. Now we are going to see what is listening and what are the nature of listening and how to improve the listening ability. So, what is listening? If I call a student, see, so many students are connected with this meeting. If I call any student, then if any student respond back to me, then I assume that my students are listening to me. Correct? If nobody is responding, then I think my students are not listening to me. I assume my students are not listening to me. Not only in my class, wherever, if I go outside, if I meet my friend, if I say hi to my friend, and my friend, if she respond back to me, then I assume that she has listened me and she is responding to me. If she is not responding, though she has heard me, and if she is not responding to me, then what I think that she is not listening me. So here also, that process is nothing but a listening process. If I talk to any person or if I send any message to a person, if I get response from that person, then that process is nothing but a listening process. If I'm not getting any response, then I cannot say that is a listening process. So in listening, there are three natures are there. The first one is sensing, filtering, and remembering. Sensing is nothing but sensing is a non-verbal communication. Correct, student? Sensing, just I may touch the person, so that touch, the person will see here. I am the talker. The person who listen me, they will be the listener. So to my listener, I may touch, I may say hi. So or I may not say orally hi. If I touch my listener and if I just wave my hand, then for that touch and for that wave, they will sense and they will respond back to me. So that is one way of communication, and that is one way of listening my gestures and responding back to me. Correct? Correct, students? Understanding? And the second nature of listening is filtering. So assume that I conduct meeting with 4 semester students. So out of 60 students, only 40 students will attend the meeting. So 1.5 hour meeting I conduct. I'll discuss. I'll ask about how the online classes are going on, how you are preparing for the internals, and I may ask about and I may ask you personally what you are doing in lockdown, how you are spending time with your parents. All that I may ask in my meeting. So some students, they may feel okay, interesting. So madam is talking to us. She's asking. She's inquiring about our personal life. Some students may feel okay, and some students may feel what she is asking. She's instead of taking class, she has conducted 1.5 hour meeting, and she is asking about our personal things. Few students may think like that also, no? So there are 40 students may think in 40 different ways. So when I complete my meeting, one student may ask my students, how was the meeting? Correct? One student may ask my 40 students, how was the meeting? Then instead of telling whole story, a student may tell in one word, it was very boring. It was very boring. So instead, what you have to understand here is, instead of telling 1.5 hour story, a student is filtering everything, and in one word he is telling how the meeting. One may tell it was very interesting. Madam was telling so many information about COVID-19, about the class also she was telling. So we enjoyed. It was very nice interaction also. Some students may tell. So instead of telling the whole story in a gist or in one word, he is responding to the student who is not attended my meeting. Yes, this process is nothing but filtering. So instead of telling a whole story, just in one word, he is explaining about the meeting. Or when they meet face to face, then he may give the expression like very interesting or very boring. If he touches his head and if he if he touches his head and if you say very boring, then instead of telling a whole story, by seeing the expression only, the listener will understand how the meeting is. Correct, students? Yes, understood this example, filtering example.
Yes, ma'am.
Next we have remembering. See, when I say hi, if a listener is listening and if he is not remembering what I said, then will he be able to respond to me? No. Will he be able to respond to me? No. So whatever the message I give to my listener, the listener has to understand and remember my words. Only then he'll be able to respond back to me. Or if I tell my students to if I tell my friend I need some information from my friend, and I tell her, you mail me that document. You mail me that document. So what she does is she don't remember what I'm telling, what I told, and she'll not reply. She'll not send me any mail. So here she's not remembering what I'm telling. She might have listened what I told, but she has not remembered. No, so she is not replying back to me. So this process, so in listening process, the remembering is also very important. If I don't remember, then I cannot respond back. Understood, students? Sensing, filtering, and remembering. Yes. Next, we have improving your listening ability. So how to improve the listening ability? Assume that you are in the classroom and I'm taking a class in a classroom. I am a talker and my students are listener. Students, you can hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
My voice is clear? Any disturbance is there?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So improving your listening ability. So how to improve the listening ability? So first thing is, very first thing, this word we all the faculty will tell in the class, stop talking. So when we enter into the class, so first thing we tell is stop talking and listen to my lecture or listen to my talk and put the talker at ease. The talker, I as a talker, I should feel easy. The student should not create or the listener should not create a situation where a talker may feel embarrassing. The talker may feel embarrassing, that they should feel comfortable. Show the talker you want to listen. So show the talker that you want to listen. You should not talk to your neighbors, or you should not make faces, funny faces, so that the talker will think that the listener doesn't want to listen to him. Yes, your expression should not be like that. Remove distraction. So remove distraction. If you put your phone in general mode, then if you get any phone call, then your phone will make sound, so you'll get distracted. So that's why when you sit in the class, you have to put your phone in the silent mode, so that if you get any call also, you won't get distraction. And be patient for silly things, or for small things. You should not lose your patience, and you have to hold your temper, and you should ask questions to the talker, so that the talker will feel that the listeners are understanding what I am talking and they are interested in my class. So these are all the points the listener should improve the listening ability. Understood, students? Yes, students, you are able to see the screen now? You are able to see the PPT?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So next we'll come to non-verbal communication. So non-verbal communication, non-verbal communication is nothing but, here a oral communication will not be there. Correct? A words will not be there. A speech will not be there. A oral words will not be there. Just a expression, body language will be there. Just the expression and body language will be there. Students, 1 minute. So, students, so in non-verbal communication, there oral communication will not be there. Just a body movement will be there, or the gestures will be there. It is based is with respect to body, space, time, paralanguage, and other. So this in the notes I already explained this. So I'll go to the next point. So next we have standard grammar. So what is when we say grammar, students, you are listening now?
Yes, ma'am.
Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So when I say grammar, then what thing will come into our mind? Noun, pronoun, verb, adverb, adjective. So that will come in our mind. So what is adjective? What is adjective? Adjective is nothing but which tells about the noun. Which tells about the noun, that is nothing but adjective. Correct, no?
Yes, ma'am.
So adverb which tells about the verb. Adverb, what is verb? What is verb? A verb is nothing but a action word. A verb is nothing but a action word. For example, eat. For example, eat. Eat is a action we are doing. Sit. What we are doing? We are sitting. That action we are doing. Working. Working is nothing but a continuous tense. But I am doing some work. So here, adverb which tells about the verb. How I am working? I am working very hard. I am working very hard. That is nothing but a adverb. That is nothing but adverb. Pronoun. So before pronoun, we'll see what is noun. What is noun? Noun is used to identify something. It may be name. It may be name or city name. It may be a person name, city name. A name is nothing. A person name is also a noun, or it may be a college name. Any name. It may be a person name, college name, city name. To identify some place or to identify some person, we use noun. What is pronoun? Instead of name, we use some other word. That some other word is nothing but pronoun. For example, instead of Asha, Asha is noun. Instead of Asha, if I use she, then she is a pronoun. She is a pronoun. So here, verb tells about the action. Adverb tells about the verb. Adverb tells about the verb. For example, he is working very hard. So how he is working? Very hard. So very hard he is working. So that we are telling that very hard is a adverb. And pronoun. Pronoun, she is beautiful. See, he is working hard. Working hard, I am telling about the verb. And she is beautiful. I am telling about her. I am telling about one lady. So she is beautiful. So that beautiful is nothing but adjective. About that lady I am telling. And wrong words. So sometimes while we may do mistake while typing, and sometimes without knowing the spelling of any words, we do the spelling mistake we do. And when we do the spelling mistake in Word, then MS Word will display that particular word with a red line. If any word in a document has a red line, then we have to understand that something went wrong. So we have to check. We have an option that if we right click on that red line, then it will display the possible words or related words it will display. So whichever word is suitable for me, I can take that. Word use. When, some words we have to use. Some words we have to use based on the situation. Affect, affect. The sound may be same. AFFECT, affect. EFFECT, affect. Both may sound same, but the meaning will be different. Correct, students? Affect, affect. Affect, affect. Both may sound same, but the meaning will be different. So the wherever affect we have to use, we have to affect. Wherever affect we have to use. So based on the wherever which word is necessary, so those words we have to use. Tense. So present, we know we have three tense: present tense, past tense, future tense. So based on the situation, which are the tense we have to use in my see all this why we are studying is to prepare a document. To prepare a document, we have to understand everything, and whichever is correct, that word we have to put it in our document. So that's why we are studying these points. And next we have standard numbering. So numbers we use in a document. Yes, we use no numbers. So there are 10 ways to use numbers in a document. So which are those 10 ways? We'll see now. Students, you're understanding? Am I fast? Because if this is a revision class, if you have any doubts, please ask me. This I already did in my regular class. Please ask if you have any doubt. So the first format or the first way of numbering, she was 31st applicant. See this 31st I can write in words also, THIR. So like that also I can write. So here we are explaining how we can use a numbers in a document. The 31st means 30 applicants are also already there. She is a 31st applicant. After her also some applicants may be there. But her number is what? Her number is 31. So this is one way of representing number in a document. And see here, 89 speakers entered into the room. Yes. Here what I am saying, this is also a number I am saying, no? What I am telling, 89 speakers are entered into the room. I can use 89 also. Yes, students, I can use that also. But this is also one way of using numbers in the document that I am showing here. It is not necessary that a numbers we have to use in a document with digits only. We can also use numbers with words also, like how I did here. 89 speakers entered in the room. Yes. And next another way of using numbers in the document. Here I am telling that, assume that I am a system admin. Under me 3 printers are there, 1 scanner is there, and 3 monitors are there. So here I am telling that I am able to manage 3 printers, 1 scanner, and 10 monitors. So here I am using the numbers. And see the fourth way, the numbers I can use in a percentage also. To represent, or I'll put it like this: numbers are used to show the percentage. To show the percentage also, we can use numbers in the document. That is, this month the sale of car. So maybe because of quarantine, because of lockdown, the sale of car is decreased by 10%. Grocery increased by 40%. Yes, everybody are at home. So maybe nobody is going on the road. So maybe because of that reason, the sale of car has reduced by 10% and purchase of grocery has increased by 40%. So here 40%, this is also one way of representing number, correct? And here, coming to the next example, see here I am using 31st, here also I am using 31st. So I will take class on 31st March. Here in 1 month, a particular day I am specifying. Yes, in March month, 31st, on 31st, I am taking a class. This is also, see why I am explaining all this is in all these ways also ways we can use numbers in the documents. Already we are doing this. Already we are using all this in our daily life or in our daily document preparation. On 31st March 2020, I will take first hour class. Here I just told on which day in the month. Here which day, which month, which year and which hour. So here this is also one way of representing number in the document. And here I paid $5 or I paid, actually it is 5 rupees. I don't have in my laptop, I am not able to show that rupees symbol. So that's why I have taken here $5. $5. So this is also one way. This also we use in our document, now students, to explain about any price of a product. So we use like this. And see here, 1000 years ago, 1000 years, see 1000 years ago. I'm not telling a particular how many years ago. Generally, I'm telling 1000 years ago. It may be 1050 years ago, or it may be 2000 years also. 1000 years ago. It may, we don't know exactly how many years. Or you can take one more example. Bill Gates' net worth is in millions. We don't know how much millions he has, but his property is in millions. And here just 2.5 marks. If I get 2.5 marks, 1.5 mark or 4.5 marks, if I got marks like that, so that also we can represent in document. Correct? And 25 I have written in digits, and even I have written in words with a bracket. Why I took this example is, if you observe your sale agreement or if you observe your rent agreement, in rent agreement we mention how much amount of money we are giving as a rent and how much amount of money we have given as a advance. So if you observe that in rent agreement and sale agreement, how much ever the amount we give, that amount will be in digits also, and it also be, in words like this. So this is also one way of using numbers in the document. Understood? Students, understood?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
See, this we have seen no main forms of communication in business. Actually, this is a beginning of the chapter when I was preparing the slide, so I prepared it later. The main forms of communication in business, there are 3 forms of communication. See, what is the difference between personal communication and internal communication? Can anybody? I think people are not listening. See, in internal and external communication, we have to follow a hierarchy. Students, listen carefully. We have to follow a hierarchy. Whereas in personal communication, there is no need of hierarchy. In all the 3 ways, some message is communicating. Yes. In all the 3 forms of communication, the message is communicating. But in these 2, we have to follow the hierarchy. Whereas in the 3rd case, no need to follow the hierarchy. Casually, I can talk to my students, or I can talk to my friends, or I can talk to my colleagues, or I can talk to my higher ups. Students, if you forget like this, then it is very difficult to attend the test. Students, understanding? Or you want me to repeat this again?
No, ma'am, understanding.
Next, spelling. Spelling. Under spelling, we have plurals and spelling. So spelling already we have seen in the grammar part. In the grammar part, we have seen if you do any mistake, When I prepare a Word document, then it will show with a red line. It will show with a red line. And if I do any grammatical mistake or if I give extra spaces also, it will show. Correct, no students? It will show with a green line. So, say for example, we are going to college. We are, instead of are, if I use we is going to college, then it will display with a green line. Because instead of are, I'm using we is. We is going to college. Actually, I have to use we are going to college. So there it will display green line. Yes. See, when you observe green line or red line in your Word document, then you have to understand that you have done some mistake. It may be a grammatical mistake or it may be any spelling mistake. If it is with red line, then you have missed some spelling. You have done mistake in the spelling. If it is showing a green line, it may be a grammatical mistake, or it sometimes if you are giving more than one space also, it will show with the green line. Yes, students, understanding. Next we have rules for plural. So is it correct? See, plural means what? If I use s with any word, then it is plural. Correct? Correct, students?
Yes, ma'am.
No, it is not correct. Again,
Plurals.
based on some words. If it is ending with sh, I have to change. See, class, ELA,
Okay.
SS class. If I use only one, include one S, is it correct? No. So,
No.
if I want to show the pluralness of any objects or any person or anything, then again it depends on the ending letters. Depends on the ending letters. For example, girls, GIRLS, girls. Singular is GIRL. If I want it to make it plural, then I have to use GRILS. So again, to show the pluralness of any word, I have to use either S or ES. I have to use either S or ES. For example, class. If I want to say classes, CLASSES. What is the spelling of hobby? HOBBY, hobby. Correct, no?
Yes, ma'am.
If any, not all the words. See, students, understand listen carefully. Not for all the words. For some words, if it is ending with Y, then I have to show the pluralness. I have to use IES. Hobby, HOBBIES, hobbies. Hobbies. Company, companies, COMPINES. NIES, companies. Yes, students, understanding? So again, to use the plural rule, we have to think and we have to apply the rules, and we have to make the words plural. So communication network. What are the communication networks? Formal network and informal network. Informal network, a proper channel will be there. Already I did this. In informal network, there is no proper channel. It is like personal communication. If you want to exchange any information, you can exchange with person to whom you want to discuss. The students understood? Students understood? This is all about first module. Students, this is all about first module. Second module revision I'll do in the next class. For your test, you have 1.5 module. These students, another 2-3 minutes we'll do the discussion. If you have any doubts, you please ask. See, in this module we have main forms of communication. First we have main forms of communication. Then we have formal and informal communication. Then we have listening, non-verbal communication, standard grammar, standard numbering, spelling and grammar, plurals. All this we have in the first module. Any doubt you have in these topics, students? Students, please respond. Do you have any doubts? Are you there, students? Are you really listening to me? Any doubts? Any doubts? Many are already leaving the meeting. Sahadev left. So many left the meeting. Harini?
Ma'am, I'm there, ma'am.
You are there, huh? You are there. Okay, okay. Okay, students, shall I stop here? So this is all about today. Whatever we have seen, this is all about module 1. Students, if you have it, once again you go through the notes which I have given.
Yes, ma'am.
So if you have any doubt, you come back to me. And we did the test. No, already we did the test. So in that test also, if you have any doubt, you can ask me. So shall I stop here?